At the other end of this spectrum is the front end, which has been put together by Luna Imaging, working for the past year very closely with Yao Yi and his team. Drake Zabriskie and David Wong are going to talk a little bit about Luna and what they've done in the Luna interface to make it easy for users to take this fantastic amount of data, which I think we're going to hit around 100,000, 100 million, I'm sorry, 100 million. Yeah, the numbers get big, 100 million annotations for the 57,000 maps when we incorporate the 4 other languages. So Luna is a software company that's been around for 28 years. It was spun out of the Getty Institute in the mid 1990s. It specializes in organizing visual collections. They've long hosted my map collection. And Drake Zabriskie is the chief technology officer and also the CEO now of Luna, and David Wong is in charge of programming. I've worked with them for years. They're wonderful colleagues, and I'm so impressed, as I think you will be, with what they have done to make this visualization possible. So Drake and David, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you for having us here. We're kind of excited. Let's see. Hopefully this is the next map. Yeah. Okay, so this is just a really short example of Luna imaging itself, as far as I'm expecting you already know David's collection online, so I'm not going to go into any detail there. And this part of this is actually represented by a little bit of design that I did for it, and then David Wong implemented these designs into the search results and what you actually see in the interface. So when you first kind of go and do a text on map search, at the top, there's a search box. And what you just basically choose text on maps. And then once you do that, you can then look for some treasure. So this can be demonstrated. I don't know if somebody's demonstrating this a little bit later on, but I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of example. This is what we call the masonry view. And the idea behind this was to give a really nice visual representation of a search result. And it kind of gave us the chills when we first saw it implemented. It was kind of a really interesting thing to happen. And you just get all these annotations. It's like it really is like pulling treasure out of the resource. And then, of course, you want to find Treasure Island, because that's where the treasure is. So you have to go there. And we kind of like look into this. That's when you're doing a multi-word search. David Wong will speak a little bit about that and how that works within this, because annotations in this context are only single words. And so we have to join those words in some way. So I just wanted to kind of give you based on proximity, that's when you're doing a multi-word search, what's happening there. Once you click on, this is actually called if you look at the top right corner, there's a way to switch between 2 views, the masonry view and the grid view. This just gives you a little, sometimes I think this is the better view. This is going to give me a better way to see this. The other one is interesting, but we were discussing and saying which one is better, and both is the answer. And we couldn't make a choice because there's different ways people are looking at content. So we wanted to make sure that there was 2 different viewpoints for that. Once you click on, you can actually roll over, and there's a little marker point on each map, or if you just kind of when you're looking for your treasure island, you can actually roll over the marker point. And if you click on the marker point or one of those annotation things, you'll get into the actual map and it'll be zoomed into that location so that you can actually see a little bit more detail along with the descriptive metadata alongside of it. This is what we call the detail view. And then there's another little tool on the top left, and there's different, this is still a little bit of a work in progress, but once you click on that little green icon, it will zoom out to the whole map. And then you click it again, and it will select all the annotations on that page. And then you can kind of see what kind of things are there. It gives you a little bit another way to look at all the annotations. It also, you may find things that are mistakes or things like that. But these are just the little tools that are available within the interface. They're very simple. We tried to keep it simple from this perspective because we're dealing with many audiences, from complex to very simple. Where'd this come from? It was like when you try to think of a way to mock this, these are the mock-ups that we originally did last the spring of 2022. And this was the concept of it and how we came up with the Mason review and what it was going to do and how we wanted it implemented. So this is the raw form. It's like, okay, here's a mock-up in Photoshop. Okay, David, make this work. So I sometimes I kind of I want it to work that way, and then David surprises me and makes it a lot better. This is the secondary grid view. This was the idea of what it was going to do, and then of course David smooths things out, works things out, and makes them like get into that point. So I'm going to hand it over to David for the continuation of this.
Thank you, Drake. First, I want to talk about the ingest pipeline on the Luna side. After receiving the 56,000 GeoJSON files from Map Creator, the information we need to gather before we could import it into Luna were the identifiers and the image dimensions. And we were able to locate the identifiers by finding the maps in the collection by matching the file names of the GeoJSON file to list numbers in the catalog metadata using the Luna API. For image dimensions, since IIIF image API is already supported, it's already available in the maps corresponding info.json file, and we were able to just retrieve it using the identifier. And then we generate the bounding rectangles from polygon, the annotations polygon, because we will need that for IIIF requests. And then we converted them into serialized Java objects. So we could move it to a different server and then pushed into Luna, which were then persisted to a database and indexed into Solr. And the current index size is 167 gigabytes. In this project, we were able to leverage Luna's existing IIIF infrastructure for both search and display. The content search API is being used for getting an annotation count on each map, and it can also be used for searching for terms within specific map. For display, we use the IIIF API to get the crop regions of maps, so we can display individual annotations in, for example, Mason review and in the pop-ups of search results. As for presentation API, it is used for delivering annotations and its change history in bulk to the front-end viewer. Pagination is supported, so if there are more than 2,000 annotations on a page, they will be delivered to the front-end viewer in multiple pages. Next, I want to talk about the difference between a single word and a multi-word search. In a multi-word search, it returns a match only when all the terms are in close proximity on a map. And we do this by using the spatial search feature in Solr. I like using this example. This place called South Ponte Vedra Beach in Florida as an example, because this combination only has one match out of the 89 million annotations generated across 56,000 maps. First, the process starts with trying to find all the maps that contains all 4 words. And in this example, there are 12 of them. And then it counts the number of occurrences of each term by using Solr faceted search. And as shown on this map above, there are 54 occurrences of the word beach, but just 1 occurrence of the term Ponte. We want to minimize the number of times we have to run the following subprocess. So we only run this subprocess, we will only choose the subprocess, run this subprocess on the least frequent word, which is Ponte in this case. To start, we start with the Ponte polygon, and then we check the left end of it, and then it matches cell. We check the right end of it, matches Vidra, and then we check the right end of Vidra, it matches beach. At this point, there's 0 remaining terms left, which means we have a match. And the process will run these on all 12 maps. That's what happens in a multi-word search. Other implemented features for this project in the past year were we added the ability to maintain the change history of annotations. We also added 2 caches, one for crop images, another one for IIIF resources. We also added OpenSea Dragon as a new viewer type using Annotorious as an annotation tool. I also built an adapter for Annotorious so Luna can be used as its annotation backend server. We also expanded event search to support combining annotation search with catalog metadata search. But the current limitation is if the result from catalog metadata search are more than 2,000, only the first 2,000 is being used for annotation search. And we are hoping to get this enhanced or fixed in the next month or so. This concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, David and Drake. I can't say how pleased I am with the work that they've done because it fits into my whole vision really for my collection being online, which is that it's a tool that can be used by such a wide range of users, from the most serious researchers to kids, basically. And I think that this text search will be very popular with all kinds of users. And so I think this is terrific.